Okay, hello. I just thought I'd do this for fun. I haven't actually done sort of an unscripted video in a while, mainly because I haven't had anything to say, and also Payday's been pissing me off, and I don't want to just make a rant video. But we're in Game Awards season now, so that's fun, and I've always been pretty good at predicting these, so I'm going to try my best, but I think this is probably one of the hardest years to predict overall. We've had a few curveballs, a couple changes to the rules, and also there's a couple games I haven't actually played this year. For the past 4 years I've played every Game of the Year nomination, but this is the first year where I haven't actually played them all, which is actually really surprising. I thought I might have gotten away with it this year with certain games, but nope, not going to get away with it. So I'm going to be going backwards because on the actual website they start at Game of the Year, but I think that's stupid. You should end on Game of the Year when you're nominating stuff to help you process what you think should win it. So of course, best esports game, I always give it to the same thing each year. Counter-Strike 2, CSGO as it used to be called. I'm a big CS player, used to be. Occasionally dabble back in the esports scene, occasionally watch it now and then, but I've been off it for a bit, but CS2 does seem to be going very strong still. I don't like Valorant, League, Dota, and I've never heard of Mobile Legends. That's why I always give it to CS. If Siege was on here, maybe. But Siege has been kind of weak recently. I've noticed that Siege hasn't really been that strong in terms of its professional scene, which is surprising. But it's also a bit sad as well, because I feel like Siege has fallen off quite a bit, in especially recent years. I love this website. No, we're not. Content Creator of the Year. I always love this category. I always love it, because I don't know any of them. Only one I know is Queso, so I don't know any of them, genuinely. But I think he probably deserves it, to be honest. He's been pretty big this year, and he's kind of just chill. So, gets my vote. Alright, this is actually what I give a fuck about. My most anticipated game. So, 5 games, which honestly, I'm excited for 4 of them. I'm not a big Monster Hunter fan personally. I tried my hardest to get into World, but I didn't jive with it personally. But Death Stranding 2, I really do like Death Stranding 1. I feel like I'm one of the only people that actually like Death Stranding 1. Like, I'm in that camp. It's like Marmite if you haven't played it. You either hate it or you love it. And I really did enjoy Death Stranding 2. I enjoyed my time with it. But I did play the director's cut on PS5, so that probably helped a lot as well. But I am excited for Death Stranding 2, and obviously I'm a big Kojima fan. I love Metal Gear, love all this shit. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Ghost of Yotei, or however you say it. Again, I'm a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima. What was that, 2021? No, it's 2020. Yeah, it's 2020, I think. I could be mistaken. It lost to Last of Us 2. But again, I am very excited about Ghost of Yotei. It looks interesting. I think the character choice is actually an interesting pick for me, in my opinion, and it's obviously based in a lot of history, and that's something I respect a lot. So I think it looks interesting, and I'm very excited for it. Metro Prime 4, I think it's a bit late. I was very excited for Metro Prime 4 back in 2017. It's almost been 10 years now. Like, if it comes out next year, it will be 8 years since it was announced to launch, which is crazy. So I am still excited for it. It looks great. It looks like Metro Prime. I like Metro Prime. So yeah, but I'm not going to beat around the bush. GTA 6 is my most anticipated thing. This is a game that I've been waiting for years for now. I know that probably a lot of people that have subscribed to my channel now probably don't care about games like GTA, but I like games through and through. I like all games. I'll play anything. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that I hold very dearly to my heart. And Grand Theft Auto 6 is a game that I've been waiting since 2013 for. So it has been 12 years now. God, I was, what? I got GTA 5 at launch in 2013. I think I was 9 or 10. I was when I got GTA 5. And you can now work out my age, how old I am, and how bitter I am now. But I'm very excited for GTA 6, so of course that's going to get my vote, and that's very clearly going to get the win here. There's no shot any of these games could beat it. It's like, if it doesn't win it, it's very clear that like it's very disconnected to the jury. Because if you don't know how the voting works, our vote accounts for about 10% of the choice. So there's a jury behind the scenes that they vote, and then their vote accounts for 90% of the votes. So if it's very split down the middle, our votes will count for something. But a lot of the time, you're just guessing what the actual industry is interested in. Best adaptation. I actually haven't watched a lot of these, to be honest. I think last year I watched a lot of them. I think I voted Last of Us last year. But Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon, Yakuza, and Tomb Raider, which I didn't even realize this was a thing. I knew about these 4, I didn't know about this one. Okay, the only one I've watched is Fallout. I haven't watched Arcane. I do enjoy an anime, but I just haven't watched Arcane. Doesn't interest me. Knuckles, I haven't watched either. Like a Dragon, I was going to watch, but it came out, I don't know, the reviews seemed really bad for it, so I was just like, I'd rather watch another show that I'm actually interested in than watching a pretty bad adaptation. But I really did enjoy Fallout, so I think I'm going to vote Fallout. I haven't watched Arcane, honestly. And Arcane Season 2 just came out, didn't it? Came out like last week. So So I don't know how this is on here, considering we haven't got the full season yet. Or did the whole season come out? I should probably look that up, shouldn't I? Probably be important for me to look that up. Is it like oh, is it? Hold on, I could be chatting at my ass. Oh. Okay, that's an interesting way to do it. They're doing it in batches. Okay, fair enough. I'm still going to vote Fallout. I'm not interested in the world of League of Legends personally. And I don't know, it just never really caught my eye personally. But Fallout I did really enjoy. I thought it did well for the Fallout brand. And actually got me to play some of the older Fallout games again. I played New Vegas 3. I wasn't going to play the first two, but I didn't play them. But I really did enjoy Fallout. I thought it was a really fun show. And actually captured the essence of Fallout in general. Best multiplayer. Okay, this is a hard one because I've actually enjoyed 3 of these games. 2 of them I haven't played. Super Mario Party Jamboree, which is not going to win it. Tekken 8, which could win it, but it's a fighting game, so it's a bit like you either like fighting games or you don't like fighting games, and I personally don't like fighting games because I'm not very good at them. So it comes down to Helldivers, Black Ops 6, and Space Marine 2. Now, I enjoyed all 3 of these games in their own way. I haven't actually played a lot of Black Ops 6. I played a lot of the beta. I think I played about 20 hours of the beta, and then I've played like 5 hours since the game's come out, and it's mainly been zombies because I like the zombies mode. I really like horde shooters. That's why I started doing Payday content. That's why I'm still doing Payday stuff. But I like horde shooters. So there's 3 games here that are like right up my alley. But which one did I enjoy the most? It would be between Helldivers and Space Marine 2. It's really hard, honestly. Helldivers 2, like when that came out, I was like, it grabbed me really hard. Like I was yanked into that game. But Space Marine 2, I think, is the overall better experience. I think the fact that Space Marine 2 has a PvE mode and a PvP mode, I think helps it a lot. So I think I'm gonna vote for Space Marine 2, and they've also done updates. I haven't actually played the updates. I should probably play them. That'd be good fun, but been a bit busy. But yeah, I'm gonna Space Marine 2. I think Helldivers as well, it struggled a lot because their balancing things were really annoying. Like when I was playing it for like the month I was playing it, there were balance patches that they were doing that just felt so unnecessary. So I'm gonna vote Space Marine 2. I think Space Marine 2 is way more fun overall as well. I enjoyed it way more, I think. Because Space Marine 2 for a while was definitely up there with one of my favorite games of the year. Best sports game. Okay, so battle or the mid. What do we want to pick? Do we want to pick car game, football game, basketball game, tennis game, or wrestling game? Honestly, none of them. I don't like sports games. It's the one genre I cannot stand. I think they're a waste of money, and I think they're ripping the entire community off in the sports genre. I just realized they're all Take-Two, or no, they're all 2K, which is Take-Two, or EA. Honestly, that one. There you go. I don't care. Best sim/strategy. Okay, I haven't actually played any of these. And yeah, I haven't played any of these, which is surprising. I'm not a big strategy fan, so I haven't actually played any of these games. It's really hard, honestly, because I'm not a big fan of this genre, so I don't even know what's good or what's bad. I was interested in Manalords, because I thought that looked good. I'll vote for Manalords. Manalords was the one that did actually grab my interest for a bit, but I decided against it, and I can't remember what I bought over it. I think I bought a different game over it, but I was interested in Manalords. Best family. So this is basically the Nintendo genre. Normally Nintendo always wins it. What do I think? I think Astrobot wins it. I think Astrobot is an amazing game. It's a great platformer. It's good fun. And this was the first Zelda game I haven't played in a while. Why? Just was not interested in it. Wasn't interested in the Peach game. And I'm not a big Mario Party guy because you need people to play them with, and not many people actually play Nintendo games that I know. So I normally don't play Mario Party that much, but these two just did not interest me. But Astrobot was really fun. I really enjoyed my time with it. Best fighting game. No, the only one I actually like, this one. Marvel 2's in it. Like, what can you say? Marvel 2's in it. Easy pick. Marvel 2. Best RPG. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the thing that I don't like this year. Why is there this? This is not a game. This is an expansion. I don't like it that this is here. Is it a good RPG? Yes, it's Elden Ring. Elden Ring was my game of the year when it came out. But do I think it's fair to put an expansion of a game that was out 2 years ago against games that just came out? No, I don't think it's fair to the expansion, and I don't think it's fair to the games that just came out. Because this game is intrinsically linked to the base game. Meaning you can't fairly judge just the DLC on its own, if you catch what I'm saying. So, I'm not going to vote for it at all. If Elden Ring is on there, I'm not going to vote for it because I don't believe it should be here. If it was in a best DLC section, like category, or best update, yes, I would do that. And I really do wish they would do that. They would do like best update and it would be like these big updates. Like you had the Helldivers 2 Freedom of whatever update. Payday doesn't deserve it, but for Payday it would be the Diamond District Houston Breakout update, like that sort of update, like big updates that really help the game. So I'm not gonna vote for it. Okay, so if you asked me a couple months ago what I would pick for this category, it would either have been between Dragon's Dogma 2 or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. There is a dog outside barking. Now, I would probably pick Dragon's Dogma 2. I really enjoyed Dragon's Dogma 2. I didn't actually do a video on it because it was before I started doing YouTube videos, but I really did enjoy Dragon's Dogma 2. I haven't played the first one, but I just wanted to play it. I wanted a fantasy RPG, sort of more knights and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. The combat was really fun. I liked the world. My only problem with it was very linear. Like, I had the big map, but it was very linear, which I didn't really like. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is, it's Final Fantasy VII. It's a great story, great characters, a really fun world, fun moment-to-moment gameplay, fun interactions, but I'm getting a bit sick of Square Enix's Final Fantasy style. I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 has probably been my favorite Final Fantasy game, and I haven't played that many. So I know a lot of people will probably say, well, what about Final Fantasy 6, 8, 9, whatever else? My first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy 7 Remake. Then I played 16, then I played 7 Rebirth. They're the only games I played. I would like to play the older ones, but I just haven't gotten around to them, unfortunately. So I'm already getting a bit bored of the style, which is very button mashy and very, like, there's not a lot of thinking. There is a bit of thinking, but it doesn't feel like you need to do a lot of thinking because you just sort of spam abilities that are weak and you can do a lot of damage. But I did enjoy it. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I have played a Yakuza game. I'm not going to chat out my ass. I haven't completed a Yakuza game, and I wanted to get into the Yakuza series, but there's like 12 games now, which is a lot of games. So I would love to have played this, but I'm not going to start on the 8th game in the series. I want to start with one of the first ones, like 0 or 1, before getting into it. But none of that matters because this game right here, Metaphor ReFantasio, blew me away. It is honestly one of the best games probably I have ever played in my life. It is an amazing game with amazing RPG mechanics in it. The amount of customization you can do on your archetypes in the game and the battles and everything, it's amazing. Genuinely amazing. It gets my vote for RPG. It is the best RPG I played this year, and I do play quite a lot of RPGs. Best action adventure: Astro Bot, Prince of Persia, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Pretty weak year for this year for action adventure, if I do say so myself. No like Doom or DMC, nothing like really cool to play. I just realized in Best RPG they didn't put Persona 3 Reload. I just realized Persona 3 Reload hasn't been nominated for a single thing. Didn't even get nominated for Best Soundtrack. That's a fucking kick in the balls, that. Jesus. We got Metaphor though. Okay, best action adventure. What do I pick? I thought this was like Cornflakes. I haven't played this because it looked pretty generic and I was not interested in it. Astro Bot is okay as an action adventure. Honestly, I'd say Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 was really fun. I haven't played the original Silent Hill 2, so it was like a brand new game for me. I really enjoyed it, genuinely. Great survival horror game. We've been treated really nicely in recent years with survival horror. Last year, was it last year? Or was it the year before? I can't remember anymore. We've had like Resident Evil 4 remake, Dead Space remake, Alan Wake 2, like insanely good games in terms of like AAA horror, which is really nice to see because it's been a while since we've had some good horror games. But yeah, Silent Hill 2, it was really fun. I enjoyed the puzzles and everything in it. So good fun, good fun. Can we go back one, please? Thank you. Best action game. I always hate that they split these up. Action adventure, action game, just a bit odd to me. Okay, didn't play Stellar Blade because it didn't interest me. And it just didn't interest me. Black Ops 6, it's fucking COD. It's not going to win this. Black Myth Wukong, haven't played. I did want to play it, and I still do plan on playing it, but I'm waiting for a physical release of it because I wanted the physical box, which I know is like a really weird thing to say, but I do like owning physical games personally. So I'm not going to vote for that because I haven't played it, but it could win it. Probably not because Space Marine 2. Helldivers is very close, but Space Marine 2 is like the most action game I've ever played. It is so fun in terms of action. The combat is so nice in Space Marine 2, and it's got quite a nice skill ceiling as well, which I do like. Yes, it is simple, but I enjoy it. It's great fun and it's a great pick up and play game. So it's one of my favorite action games. Best VR AR. I don't play VR AR games. Never have, probably never will. But the one that does actually interest me is Batman Arkham Shadow. It actually had an interesting gameplay loop in my opinion. It was between that and Arizona Sunshine, but Batman Arkham Shadow actually looked interesting and would probably been the game that would have convinced me to get a VR game. It'd probably be the first VR game I would ever play if I had to play one game. So I'll give it to that. Best mobile game. Now this is a hard one. Asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said Balatro every day of the week. I love Balatro. Such a fun game. However, this came out and Pokemon TCG Pocket, I think, is a better mobile game than Balatro. And that might be a bit controversial, but I'm going to use the example of this. Think Solitaire. You would never play Solitaire on your phone, but you would play it on your computer. That's the sort of difference here. Balatro to me is a Solitaire type of game. I prefer playing on my PC than on my phone. But Pokemon TCG is like really good. It was like Marvel Snap, but I prefer it to Marvel Snap. So I'd say Pokemon TCG personally. And the other games, what were they? AFK. How does this game keep? Didn't this come out like 4 years ago? Wuthering Waves, never heard of it. And Zenless Zone Zero, another Hoyoverse game, which, hey, fair enough. Some people like them. They're not for me. I'm not a big gacha person, which this is a gacha game technically. Best debut indie. Interesting one. Manalores, Pacific Drive, Plucky Squire, Balatro, Animal Well. Between these two, then obviously, who want to be honest, Balatro. Balatro is like a perfect game for me in terms of like a fun, small indie game that you can just pick up and play for like 10 minutes. It's an amazing game, genuinely. I'm a big fan of playing like card games. I just like card games in general, like classic card games, blackjack, poker. But Balatro is a nice twist on it, so I really find it fun as well to pick up and play. But I still do play it occasionally now and then. I think I've put enough hours into it now. Best independent game. Technical achievement in a game outside a traditional publisher system. Okay, I'm going to probably be like chatting at my ass, but I never understood independent. I thought independent meant the studio themselves published it. Wait, but then that's I don't know. Balatro again. It's like the same thing, but there's a couple different games here. So Balatro again. Best community support. Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy. This game, I still can't believe they're updating it. Baldur's Gate 3 is amazing, genuinely. I put in the month it came out, I think I put 100 hours into it. And I put another 50 in after that. So I have about 150 hours in, I think, off the top of my head. Final Fantasy 14, still going strong. Fortnite, still going strong somehow. I'm not saying that as like a bad thing. I'm just really surprised it's lasted this long, Fortnite, I'll be honest. Helldivers 2, iffy, and No Man's Sky. Always great to see that's still there. Now, if I had to pick, what would I pick? None of them, because I haven't played any of these games in a while. Helldivers 2 support actually got so bad it pushed me away from the game, so I'm not gonna vote for that. But none of these games have got big updates. Like I think it was last year or the year before, I think Final Fantasy 14 got a really big update and I voted for that. So I saw how big the update was. And then No Man's Sky got a big update a few years back as well, I think. Honestly, I don't know. Baldur's Gate 3, I've enjoyed seeing the updates it gets, but I haven't been playing the game. But it's one that it's very nice to see it's still getting updates to this day. Best ongoing. Destiny 2 shat itself for a while, but it somehow landed on its feet in the end. Diablo 4, nope. Final Fantasy 14, nope. Fortnite, Helldivers, I'm sorry. It's my favorite one here. Out of all of them, it is my favorite one. So that, but I haven't played it in a month. Games for Impact. I haven't played any of these. Yeah, I haven't played any of these. And the only one, I don't want to vote for Hellblade 2. I'm going to vote for Never. This was a game that did actually interest me, but I haven't played it yet. So, but it did catch my eye. I will say that. The other ones I've never heard of. Life is Strange, I'm not interested in because it's got fairly poor writing and it's just always been a bit weird in my opinion, that game's writing. Hellblade 2 is way too short for what it was. It should have been way longer and they focused on the wrong things for the game. But yeah, I digress. Innovation in accessibility. This one's quite hard this year. Because none of these games really push that much, software and hardware is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed to an even wider audience. I don't know. Black Ops didn't really do a lot this year. COD was quite bad in accessibility options this year. Star Wars is a very accessible game. You can play that on the hardest difficulty and it's still really easy. This is one of the harder ones. I'm just gonna put Black Ops. I don't know what Dragon Age did. And I don't know what Diablo did. I don't know what any of these three did. Actually, Team Prince and Persia have really good colorblind options and blindness controls as well. Like the bright colors. I think I had really good ones for that. I can't remember, but I'm not going to change it because I could be chatting out my arse. Best performance. This is one that actually surprised me quite a bit. I think they nominate the wrong kind of performances now. Because you'll notice something. Every single one of these is a mocap performance, I think. I'm not sure about Life is Strange, but every other one is a mocap. Now, there is one person that I would have 100% voted for if he was on here, and that's the voice actor for Stroll. Let me get his name up because I'm not going to butcher his name. Yeah, Stuart Clark. I would have voted for him or Heismay's voice actor, which he is called... Oh, God. Philippe Spool? Yeah, one of them two. I would have 100%. Or even Luis's one. God, Joseph Tweedale. Any of them. I would have voted for any of them. Honestly, anyone from Metaphor I would have voted for. But they didn't put anyone from Metaphor in there, which I was actually really surprised about because there was actually some pretty good performances. Even Persona 3 Reload had some really good performances from the new voice cast that they had to get for the entire game. But we only got these 5, which I think is a bit of a weird one. It's kind of annoying that they only do the big performances of like the big mocap actors. So like you always see like a few years back, it was like Roger Clark or Christopher Judge, which yes, they're talented actors, I'll give them that. But I think it's a bit of a shame that we don't get a bigger focus on voice acting and it's more of a focus on the mocap side and them actors, which is fine. Now, which one did I like the most here? Luke Roberts. Luke Roberts is amazing, genuinely. His performance in Silent Hill 2 is amazing. It really helped. It pushed the game a lot more, in my opinion. And of course, it focuses on him a lot and his mental state of his character. So of course, having a good actor behind that, it helps the game a lot. And I think he really enhanced the game a lot with what he brought. Best audio design. In-game audio and sound design. I'd say Silent Hill 2. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth didn't impress me. COD Black Ops 6. COD hasn't gone above what Modern Warfare 2019 did. Oh, my mouse is on battery. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2019 was like the new high for COD and they've never surpassed that. Astrobot's very close. Hellblade. Honestly, I forgot Hellblade came out this year. Silent Hill 2 though was one of the games, like you often get it with horror games. Like I think I voted Alan Wake 2 last year for this same award. You get games that have like really good audio and immersive audio at that, and horror does it so well because it freaks you out. There was a moment in Silent Hill 2 when I was playing it, there was like a whisper noise or a breath noise that sounds like it's behind you, because obviously I'm playing with like 7.1 surround sound headset, so there's like this really slight, like really quiet whisper from behind you, but it could be like just the wind whistling. But man, it freaked me out so much. Honestly, it's such a great game. Just like just the audio is amazing in Silent Hill 2. Genuinely, Konami, keep making games like this. They're really good. Best score and music. All right, we know where this is going. Astrobot had fun music. Stellar Blade, I actually haven't heard a single song from Stellar Blade. Silent Hill 2, yeah, it has decent music. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, yep, good music. But Metaphor ReFantasio has main battle theme, and that wins the entire category on its own. Genuinely, that one theme, the battle theme, it is not my favorite battle theme from Atlas. It's very close, but there is still one I prefer more than it. It's a Persona song, I'll say that much, but it's very close, and that's just one song. The entire Persona and Metaphor and Shin Megami Tensei, they have amazing music. Genuinely, like outstanding music. So easy. Every day of the week. Best art direction. Right, this was cute. This was a bit This was Elden Ring again, so I'm not voting for it. I feel like it's a really big cop, but Metaphor had such an interesting art style to me. Black Myth Wukong is very interesting art style, I'll give it that. But Metaphor is more interesting to me. The whole steampunk aesthetic with like the like generic fantasy sort of twisted a bit is so cool to me, and I love it. So yeah, it gets my vote. I love its art direction. It's very hard to explain why it's such an interesting sort of designs and everything, and all the character designs. I just like it. The enemies are super fun. The archetypes look cool. Best narrative? This is a hard one. Okay, Silent Hill 2 is like a classic game narrative. I feel wrong voting for Silent Hill 2 though, because it is just a remake. Metaphor had a fun narrative. I did like Metaphor's story. I think Metaphor is like the first Atlas game in a while, because Persona, I love. I'm gonna speak some shit now on games that I love. Persona 5 had a okay story. It wasn't great. You didn't play the game for the story. I think Persona 4 had a better story than Persona 5, and I think Persona 3 had a better story than Persona 5 as well. But Persona 5 did its like RPG and life sim elements way better. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is like Atlas have always had a problem with making their story feel important and like getting you into it, because it's often the part that I always care about the least. Like when you go off to kill God at the end of every Persona game, it's like, again, really, do we have to do this every game? But Metaphor didn't actually really do that. It actually had a really interesting narrative with a good central antagonist who actually was the main end antagonist, which I really like. So I'm gonna vote for Metaphor. I would have voted for Silent Hill 2 if it was a brand new game, but because it's a remake, I don't know. I feel like I'm more impressed by this game's story, considering this game's story is like 20 years old now. So, you know, they could have very easily like perfected it and everything. Game direction, creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Most people will not understand what this means, but think of it from a gameplay standpoint. Is it innovative in gameplay standards? So no, none of these games are interesting. Elden Ring is not a evolution of its game direction. It did not change its gameplay up in a significant or meaningful way. It is Elden Ring from 2 years ago, just more. So if that wins this, I will be fucking dumbfounded. It had some very interesting boss fights, I'll give it that, but it does not deserve it. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is Final Fantasy VII Remake, but more. So in my opinion, it does not deserve this award. In my opinion, it should go to the other four: Black Myth, Balatro, Astrobot, and Metaphor. Now, I haven't played Black Myth, but it does actually have an interesting game direction. It's a very concise and very sort of, you can tell there was a person behind it that had an idea of what they wanted to make the game. So I do think it has a really good game direction, and it definitely does deserve this award, I think. Balatro, again, it's a fun card game. Astrobot is just Astra's Playroom, but more, but it does enhance it a bit more, so I'll give it that. A Metaphor, which is kind of like Persona and Shin Megami Tensei mixed together and spiced up a bit and improved. Now, it's almost impossible to really understand what's best, because what does it mean to have good game direction? Well, to me, it's what was the most fun to me, and what was the game that impressed me the most with its mechanics. And for me, that was Metaphor. Astrobot was just a platformer. There was nothing insanely innovative about it. It was just a new platformer, and again, it's just Astra's Playroom, but more. Balatro, yes, it is a fun card game, but it's a card game. Its rules are based off poker, and it has a multiplier system. Jesus, I cannot talk today. Black Myth Wukong is interesting. It's a Souls-like, but more actiony, I guess, which I definitely do think it definitely does deserve an award, but I just don't really think it's as impressive as people think it is. I know that's a bit of like me chatting out my arse because I haven't even played the game, but from what I've seen of the game, it doesn't really wow me in a way that I guess it does for other people. It's always just seemed like it took parts from other games and really enhanced them, and again, that's what Metaphor did. This award is almost always impossible to vote for, and whenever they give it to something, it's normally whatever wins Game of the Year wins this. So whatever wins Game of the Year this year, I bet you money it will win this as well. But for me, I guess Metaphor, everything sort of came together and made a really fun game. And it was a really interesting game as well, with like the best combat we've had for any Shin Megami Tensei adjacent game. So I'd give it to that. And also I do like the changes to the dungeons as well. And Game of the Year. Okay, straight off the bat, Elden Ring should not be here. I do not agree with them putting an expansion here. The fact that we've had Phantom Liberty, Cyberpunk, which was the first year it was talked about if they should do it, but many people said no. They had Future Redeemed. I always get them confused. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Future Redeemed. That was a big expansion, but they didn't do that. They also didn't nominate Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, which I know a lot of people really enjoyed that, but obviously that didn't get it. And some people have even said Persona 3 Reload expansion, the Answer expansion, which I haven't played that, but I have heard mixed things about it, so it probably doesn't deserve to be here. Do I think it should win it? Fuck no. It should definitely not win this. If it wins this, I will actually be a bit upset, because it's not a game. It's not the game of the year. It's an expansion. So in my opinion, it doesn't deserve it. If they release this as a full game, then yeah, I'd say put it up for Game of the Year and let people do it. But it would be the same argument I would made for Spider-Man 2, God of War Ragnarok. I guess Red Dead Redemption 2, why that didn't win. A lot of people always say that these games are robbed. God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2 was one of them. There was another one. Tears of the Kingdom and Red Dead Redemption 2. They're the four that I often see say like, oh, they got robbed. Oh, Uncharted 4, that's the other one. But the main reason these games don't win Game of the Year is because they're not innovative. They're not game changing. They're not changing the industry up in a significant way. God of War Ragnarok was God of War 2018, but more. That's why Elden Ring beat it. If God of War Ragnarok was a significant difference and upgrade to God of War 2018 and was like a completely different game, like it was unrecognizable, I genuinely think that would have been a much bigger battle than people probably would have imagined. And God of War Ragnarok, I think, could have taken it. But of course, it was just God of War 2018, but more. Spider-Man 2, the same thing. It was not a big enough upgrade from Spider-Man PS4. Red Dead Redemption 2, I think, is definitely one that a lot of people do not understand the most. Rockstar has forever used the same formula for all their games. You can play GTA 3 and it plays the exact same as GTA 5 in its mission structure. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the exact same. It plays the exact same as Red Dead Redemption 1, GTA San Andreas, GTA Vice City. The overall actions you do in the game and the way that the game is structured from mission to mission. So you have a person you go to, you talk to them, they give you a mission, you go out to a point, you do a mission, you go back to, like, it's very much point following. You never have this sort of like interesting emergent gameplay, which is always a shame because Rockstar make these beautiful worlds that are so immersive and engaging, but they never truly let you be immersed in it by letting you have free reign on their missions. They're very linear. That's why I think it didn't deserve it, because God of War 2018 at the time was a very innovative game. It was very new. Nothing had really done something similar to God of War 2018 that I can think of off the top of my head. I know a lot of people will probably say, well, it's just a linear action game with a slight open world. Yes, games have existed like that, but God of War 2018 was like when I think Sony finally got what they should be making, which was like the big blockbuster sort of like in your face, yeah, this is the shit game, like that sort of game. And of course they decided to completely go against that and make live service games, which no one wanted. But that's the point. The games were new, they were innovative, they were fresh ideas, and Uncharted 4 didn't win it because it's the fourth Uncharted game and Overwatch was very big at the time. So what deserves it here? It's actually a really hard pick, genuinely, because none of these games feel super fresh and super unique. So it very much comes down to, what did I like the most? And if you can't tell, I liked Metaphor the most. Metaphor is, I'm not going to sit here and act like it is the most innovative game. It is not. It obviously pulls from Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, you know, for a lot of its aspects. But I think all the games here have pulled from somewhere. I think Black Myth Wukong probably is the most fresh game here, with innovation and everything and spicing the game up and upgrading it. You can never truly break free from inspiration. You will always be inspired by something. You can always link back to something. And Black Myth Wukong, a lot of people link it back to Dark Souls, to the like old linear action games like DMC and like Bayonetta and stuff. So obviously you can't do that there. So a lot of the time now with Game of the Years, it's always what's the most popular, what did you enjoy the most? So for me, Metaphor. I can't in good faith vote for anything else, because Metaphor is a game that genuinely surprised the shit out of me, because I was not expecting a lot from it. Because Atlas have kind of had a bit of a weird record. Anything other than Persona seems to be a bit shoddy when it comes out, but Metaphor was really good when it came out, which was surprising. So I think I'm gonna vote Metaphor. So that's my voting done. What do I think's gonna win? Well, I want Metaphor to win, but do I think it will win? I think it has a good chance, genuinely, honestly. I think it has a better chance than Persona 5 did when that came out. Persona 5 was in a stacked year though. That was what, 2017? That was a horrific year for it to be going up against like Breath of the Wild and everything. Even I would have picked Breath of the Wild over Persona 5. Even now, I like Breath of the Wild is like my second favorite game of all time. And then Persona 5 right behind it. So even I would have picked Breath of the Wild over Persona 5. But this year, I honestly don't know. I can't predict it. Last year I predicted Baldur's Gate, which was like the most obvious guess. The year before that was what, 2022, Elden Ring. The year before that it was It Takes Two, and the year before that it was Last of Us 2. I've predicted all of these games like fairly well. It Takes Two was like it was the only one that kind of deserved it in my opinion that year. But this year's quite hard again. I could definitely see them giving it to Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. I could definitely see it, because that is the highest rated thing on Metacritic at the moment. But I really don't think it deserves it, genuinely. I think they should give it to another game. And it would, in my opinion, it would be between... Thing is, Black Myth Wukong got an 83 on Metacritic, I think. And often the Metacritic score is a very big indication of what is going to win. I think Black Myth Wukong got on here because of how popular it is. I don't think... Because it wasn't that popular. Black Myth Wukong did not do that well with critics in the West. Obviously, it's a massive game and a lot of people like it, but critics didn't seem to jive with it as much as people did. And obviously, critics are deciding the game of the year for this thing. So, I think it'll be between Metaphor and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, or they could surprise the shit out of us and give it to Balatro, which would be hilarious. But I think Metaphor, probably, I think, is the most likely game to win it this year. It is the game that seems to have surprised a lot of people and shown that Atlas can still make really good RPGs. So I think that is probably the most likely game this year to win it. Yeah, that's going to be my final guess. So when the Game Awards is streaming, I probably will not be able to stream it because unfortunately, on a really awkward day for me. But that's my prediction. If it wins it, whippy. If it loses it, oh, who cares? Another game definitely deserves it, except the fucking DLC. Please don't give it to the DLC. Why are you doing this? I think that's enough waffling from me. This is all unscripted, if you couldn't tell. But I just wanted to record my thoughts on it and just do my voting because it's interesting, I think. So yeah, that's enough waffling from me. See you around. Crocodile.